Hey, shalom, shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Akakwadash. Giving double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Go by the name Tuah Parya, brother from the Providence, Rhode Island camp. And Lord willing, through spirit and power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, this lesson is edifying. Really, this lesson is inspired by a conversation I was having with the elder yesterday. The elders, my brothers. I had recently got into a car accident not too long ago, about about 2.5 months ago, maybe 3 months at this point. And I shared that with them, and pretty much now I'm much better now, health wise. But the elder Amos made a statement. Was like, "Yeah, man, the Lord deliver you. That'd be, a good thing to mention in your videos." And I don't know why I didn't think of doing a video on it when it first happened, but hey, the Holy Spirit's likened unto the wind. It comes and it goes. It's a matter of I can't control. It's a matter that I can't control. So, if you hear background noise, I was watching the Apostle Ramlam video live, but it just struck me to hit the record button right now and go into it, man. Pretty much, I was on the highway at a stop and go type of traffic, and I was driving an SUV, which is one of the reasons why the impact wasn't so bad. But first and foremost, it was Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But there was like this big work truck, like a 2500, like a Ford or a Ram, whatever. But that thing just ran right into the back of my car. And in the moment, I didn't feel any pain or whatever. But I was mainly due to like the adrenaline. At first, I didn't know what to do. I was in shock. I was in shock. I don't usually get into car accidents. Let's just say that. So when it happened, I didn't move for a few moments, probably like 5 to 7 minutes. I was just sitting there. I didn't even think to call the authorities in the moment because I was just still in shock though, like what had just happened. So, I still ended up going to work, working the whole day. I asked the employer, like, "Oh, what do you think I should do?" He was like, "Oh, how do you feel?" I was like, "I'm all right." But he was like, "Yeah, come in." So I ended up going into work the whole day. But the next day, I felt some pain. I felt pain in my lower back. And I'm somebody that likes to go and work out. I like to move around. I play softball here and there as like a hobby. Just to have like that physical balance in my day-to-day, right? But I wasn't able to do that the way I wanted to. So I was being, in a sense, I was being afflicted, right? I was in pain. I had to go to the urgent care or whatever. They I was out of work for like 2 months. Had to go through physical therapy and do all of these things, and it was a battle. It was like going up a hill in the sand, a sanded hill. It was tough, but the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai today. I'm at about like 80-90% recovered. But I wanted to read Psalms 34 in verse 19 because the brother Yakol actually just sent this into the group chat. Sent it into the group chat, and it was like perfect for this lesson. So Wadi Yahweh Bashem Shai for that brother, man. This is Psalms 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai delivereth him out of them all. And that was an affliction in that moment. And all of us believers, all of us that are walking in this straight gate are being afflicted one way or another. And the fact of the matter is that's ultimately made that's set up to make us better people for the Lord. But many are the afflictions of the righteous. There's many afflictions, that men in this truth are going through that are really, to another man, are unbearable. But the Lord made it so that whatever that man is going through, he can bear it. And I hear brothers talk about certain things that they're going through, and in my mind, I'm like, damn, how the hell is he doing it? But all said and done, it's Yahweh Shemel Shai that's delivering them. But the main moment or hour where we're gonna be tested or tempted or afflicted, persecuted, is during the time of the mark of the beast being implemented throughout the whole earth and introduced as a mandatory thing to be a part of society. But when it comes down to even that, Yahweh Shem Al Shah is gonna deliver his men. He's gonna deliver his women. He's gonna deliver his children. I'm gonna grab another scripture. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. See, so we're given the reason for why we are going through particular adversities, afflictions, persecutions. It's because we're likened unto gold in a fire, where the infirmities or the impurities, I should say, are being purged away. But it's all said to make us acceptable men, acceptable women. But being patient is a thing that will ultimately allow us to get salvation, as it says here in Luke chapter 21 in verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls. See, when we keep that mind single, or when we stay focused on the why aspect. I've been saying this a little bit. I've been saying this a lot lately. The why aspect of this truth. When you keep your mind focused on that, then it just allows you to stay fervent. It allows you to continue to move forward and not be stagnant, not be in a position where you feel like you're about to just give up, But there will be low and weak points. However, that's when you cry out to Yahweh Shem Yahushai in prayer. You speak to the brothers so you could get that reboost, that charge back in the spirit. It's like a PlayStation controller that's low on battery. The only way you can charge it up and make sure that it's fully charged again is if you plug it into the wire that's connected to the power outlet, the source, which our source, man, is Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Let me grab another one. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 5. Matter of fact, it's Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. What's that race? Salvation, the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? Deuteronomy 28 verses 1 through 14. That's what we race. That's what we looking to accomplish in this at the end of this race. But verse 2 says, looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yahweh. See, yeah, Yahweh Shai had to go through something. There's actually is written in the book of John. If matter of fact, let me see. Let me see. I think it's in John. Let me see. John. Yeah, right here. John 15:20. Remember the word that I say unto you, that the servant is not greater than his Lord. And we are servants to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and we're not greater. However, if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And if they have kept my saying, and if they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So Yahweh Shai had gotten persecuted to fulfill the prophecies written of him, specifically in Isaiah 53. But that's the same things that essentially we're going to have to go through, the persecution aspect. Our family turns on us, friends turn on us, the society turns on us in general. But Yahweh Shem Yahushua will not turn on us. All right? And there's going to be those that are willing to go through that. As it just said it. If they kept my saying, they'll keep yours also. That's Yahweh Shai referring to his word, man. Those believers that hearken onto it. Let me see. Going to continue in Hebrews 12 and verse 3. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, that ye be wearied and faint in your minds. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. Matter of fact, what I want to do, let me do this. Let me do this. Hebrews 12, and we'll read it in the Amplified version over here. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Hebrews 12:3 in the Amplified version. Just consider and meditate on him who endured from sinners such bitter hostility against himself. Consider it all in comparison with your trials, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. You have not yet struggled to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin, and you have forgotten the divine word of encouragement which is addressed to you as sons. My son, do not make light of the discipline of the Lord, and do not lose heart and give up when you are corrected by him. And that's kind of how I looked at it when I was in my situation. I was being corrected. I was being shown something about myself, and there was a particular aspect in the spirit that I had to grow with. I'm considered a young man to a degree, and I still have a lot to learn. The youngest would probably call me Unc, but I still have a lot to learn as an individual. But the Lord, he had delivered me from that. But there's a decent amount of things you can extrapolate from just that situation that had occurred. But right here, what am I going into really? Just realizing the bigger picture. Okay, verse 6 says, for the Lord disciplines and corrects those who he loves, and he punishes every son who he receives and welcomes to his heart. Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Verse 7, you must submit to correction for the purpose of discipline. The Most High is dealing with you as with sons. For what son is there who his father does not discipline? Now, if you are exempt from correction and without discipline, in which all of the Most High's children share, then you are illegitimate children and not sons at all. Moreover, we have had